Hello, and welcome back to another Lost Story Time. This one is a special episode, and the reason is my grandmother, my nana, just came over to my house, and we realized together that uh, none of my episodes are really suitable for her. So this is going to be a clean episode, and it is only for her. Everyone else is welcome to listen, of course, but this one's for her. So if you're not watching the if you are watching the video stream, I apologize to keep coming back to this cascading windows of infinity. Well, no, I'm not. Uh I like it. It makes me feel like there's more people in the room. And sometimes I just come here and I talk to myself and I like what the other people are saying back to me. Secondly, if you're watching the video portion of this is my actual Papa John's hat. If you've listened to um the Padres Pizza episodes, this is the hat I actually wore when I worked for Padres Pizza. That shouldn't be named. If you look, there is still Dustinator on there, which is what they use in Padres Pizza to keep the pizza from sticking to the table. So when you're slapping it out, it makes it all move. So this is probably going to be a short episode. I know I said that last time, but usually make them shorter when it's just me. So I assume that you can see my screen now. So we're going to get back to Mad Libs. We're going to start with some Mad Libs. We'll do some of these other ones. I know it didn't go so well with Men last time, where we found a cryptic message from Bill Cosby, and that's never a good thing to see on your computer screen. So let's start with Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Not too bad, not too long. We're going to totally randomize this mythical creature. We're going to say, for our mythical creature, an honest politician. And for our type of material, our type of material is going to be backwards hat fabrics. So let's go mad. Here we go. In his second year at Hogwarts School of Member. In his second term at Hogwarts School of Member and Wizardry, Harry Potter, Jackie Robinson. I don't know why they would. Whatever they put there, I don't know why that would be a parenthetical title of Harry Potter. Harry Potter, and then a proper noun. What would it? Harry Potter was his name. It wasn't like a pseudonym. It's not like Tim Johnson, aka John Timson. It's literally just Harry Potter. I messed it up now. Let's start over. In his second term at Hogwarts School of Member and Wizardry, Harry Potter, Jackie Robinson, is warned by an honest politician named Dobby that Axis will retire when he returns to Hogwarts. Retire feels completely appropriate there. Besides the fact that he is still favored by Professor Snape, Bugs, but I get it. I see what's going on now. The parenthetical title is the person playing the person. So Harry Potter, played by Jackie Robinson, and Professor Snape, played by Bugs Bunny. This is just Space Jam, where Jackie Robinson would obviously be Michael Jordan. And sobbed by Draco Malfoy, Tom Felton. He didn't get a Mad Lib. Draco Malfoy was actually played. He is so typecast now that Draco Malfoy will always be Tom Felton. Harry gets off to a lengthy start with his two best barrels. Ron Weasley, Rupert Grint, and Hermione Granger, Diana Ross, and also famous ferryman Liddell Lockhart. Kenneth has joined the Hogwarts staff and is now on the defense against the lewd arts. This has turned in from Harry Potter to Footloose. But now, Hogwarts students are carryingly, and threw me off with the capital, carryingly being turned into backwards hat fabrics. But who is the one doing it? Malfoy? Printer Hagrid? Robbie Coltrane? Or even Harry? But what if it's Lord Voldemort trying to make his vital return? I don't like how it capitalizes the words when you do this. Let's do another one. And then I am going to actually get back to what the show's about, and that's telling you stories that I've conceptualized or stories that I'm conceptualizing and have not written. I know this is Lord of the Rings, but I kind of like it Lord of the Part 2 and 3. Let's go Pizza Parlor. Let's go with the Padre Pizza Hat. Oh, and this is a short one, so this is great. Totally random. Adjective, close. Nope, not funny enough. Adjective, voracious. Noun, attention. Adjective, godly. Noun, plural, suspects. Verb ending in ed, quaked. Noun, outcome. So now we need a male name. And let's go with, what's the funniest male name? Probably Jackie Robinson. Food, plural. Dragon fruits. And a liquid. Let's go with liquid metal parenthetical like Terminator 2. And then we're going to go mad. Come on over to Jackie Robinson's Pizza Parlor where you can enjoy this should be your. Come on over to Jackie Robinson's Pizza Parlor where you can enjoy your favorite voracious dish pizzas. You can try our famous Attention Lovers Pizza or select from our list of godly toppings, including sauteed dragon fruits, suspects, and many more. Our crusts are hand-quaked and basted in liquid metal like Terminator 2 to make them seem more outcome made. That wasn't funny at all. That's just that's not even a bad advertisement. Jackie Robinson's Pizza sounds delicious. All right. Men is the one where you have to figure out the puzzle and you can't type in. Oh, you can type in this one. 26 is hint. 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 What's money? A man is a success if he... This is just a quote. Nobody wants to listen to just quotes. Words. Did we do words last time? I don't think... Oh, it's a word search. This... Alright, let's get out of this. Let's, I don't want to bring up the video of me videoing and so on. So How about puppies smiling? Oh, look at that. Oh, this one. Yeah. Does it make you a monster if you find a puppy smiling more cute than the last puppy smiling? Like if you're like, you don't cut it for me. You puppy, this puppy. I mean, look at this puppy and this puppy. If you're listening, there's a less cute puppy and a more cute puppy. There's 3 cute puppies. If you're listening again, go to YouTube because none of this is gonna make sense. Let's try to bring up this puppy smiling. Oh, you know what? We're gonna tell a story now. We should probably bring up like story backgrounds. Story backgrounds. Horror. Oh, that's gonna put us in the mood. Let's see. Maybe we'll. Oh, there it is. There it is. This is the wallpaper I have in my house. It's American Horror Story. How do I? Can I? I wish I could just make it bigger. We'll just look at all of them. Now it's super scary because there's a bunch of them. All right, so this is the story I'm going to come up with today. I'm going to switch back just for a minute so I can see, make sure that I could do this with two monitors, but I'm not. So this is more difficult. I'm going to turn the camera so I can look at it and show you. This is a camera painted for me for Christmas by my grandmother, and I love it. It's one of my favorite pictures I've ever gotten. Again, I'm turning the camera. So, I asked her my favorite symbol are dead trees. I love dead trees. You know what? Let's bring that up as an image. That would have made more sense. And she is a fantastic painter. So she painted me the picture of dead trees. One thing that I really like is the street lamp. It's in the middle of the forest. And if you look again, I'm going to show you. I assume you can see it. Should be in the lower corner where my picture is. But there's a street lamp and there's no street. So I love it. I love the idea of what it represents, and so just while I was talking there, I just had an idea of what this story is going to be about. So let's wind it up. Wind it up. For you those just listening, I showed a glass of wine, and then I said wind it up. So for me, this story, this is what's going on, and it'll change tomorrow. But right now, what I see in the story is there's obviously the Dark Tower in the back. For this story, we're going to get out of Stephen King's universe and just stick to ours. As you can see, the trees they look like new growths. They're not old, and they still have little leaves on them. So there's also the rose here, and the rose is part of the Dark Tower series, but that's going to come into play here. So here's the story about. It's about a kid who's playing basketball in West Philadelphia, where he was born and raised, and he grew up spending most of his days. No, wait, that's stories I've been told. That's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So this is going to be a post-apocalyptic story, and I know all those listening are thinking that's all you really tell are post-apocalyptic stories, but this is a good one. So what this is a city street that has been reclaimed by nature, and without the interference of humanity and technology, they have the nature has grown quicker than it should really. Where usually trees have to fight for survival, these have been so unencumbered by technology and industrialism that they've grown quicker than really they should. And the streets, slowly, they have cracked, and eventually the grass has seeded in between the cracks. And once they seed in between the cracks, they start pushing the cracks away further and further, where the grass just grows deeper and fuller than you could ever imagine. And now the streets are not even visible due to the thick grass. Because of the concrete and the water holding nature, the water that rains fills in those cracks and feeds the seeds with nourishing water. And the fact that the factories are all shut down now, and there's no more smog blocking the life-giving rays of the sun, this grass and these trees are getting more nutrients than ever thought possible, and they're just flourishing. The one rose it's the last rose that is now being choked out by the weeds and the grass and the trees that are growing, and nature's actually doing the same thing that humanity did, where now not smog is blocking the sun, it's the weeds and the fast growing trees and the healthy trees and the grass and the nourishing grass are now replaced by weeds and fast growing trees, and it's choking out the beauty of the nature that the roses represents. So the rose is the last rose and has fallen and is dying, and it's because the sun is now blocked out and kept. And we'll never know really what caused all of this, because it doesn't matter. What matters is whether it be nature, whether it be humanity, or some other invasive species. Sometimes you have to kill the bad stuff to let the good stuff grow, and we're not doing that here. We're choking out the roses, and we're letting the weeds kill the grass, because we're not humans in this story, are no longer there to quell the bad things. So maybe it's important to take an intelligent design into things and say humanity could save these roses if we were here, but the roses wouldn't grow anyway if we were just paving it all over. So that's the story we're going with here. We're going with a sort of poetic post-apocalyptic where, hey, humans do bad stuff, but they also do good stuff. They also protect nature a lot. I mean, yes, we cut down a lot of rainforests, but we also do a lot to protect the rainforest, and it's not necessarily against from ourselves. Species die, and invasive species happen, and it's not just because of what we do. We should know when to stop, and we shouldn't let greed cut over us like that. But hey, we're good. And I'm getting the feedback. I hear you. Hey, this is a comedy podcast, but it's not really. It's a story podcast. It's called Law Story Time, not Law Funny Time. So it all goes back to the streetlight, and I think this is the thing that takes it out of the darkness about murder of plants from other plants and the absence of humanity. The streetlight, for those watching, it's a beacon. It's a hope. It's an old time. We were here, and you have tried to take us, but but we're still here. So everyone who's still living in this world, they will still be able to see in the darkness of all the things we've lost. There is still a light there in the darkness for people to follow, and it has not been destroyed by anything. It is still there, and it will still be there for hundreds of years. And our ingenuity and our technology has led to this light to still be lit many years after civilization as we know it has faltered. And so let's go into the story aspect. That's more poetic, but let's throw a quick story on here. So we need a girl's name. For those listening, I'm Googling a girl's name. I don't need to Google. If you, little known fact, if you Google, you break the internet. Girl's name, Olivia. And boy's name, Liam. So Olivia and Liam are actually escaping their village. Their village has outdated ideas of, I don't know. It seems cliche to say human sacrifice, but let's go. Let's do it. Let's human sacrifice. I mean, it's Olivia and Liam. They're pretty outdated names anyway. So let's say human sacrifice, and they're in love, and Olivia is going to be sacrificed. Liam goes to Olivia and says, "Hey, you, I don't like that. I'm in love with you. What if we didn't let you get sacrificed?" And Olivia's like, "I'm cool with that. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't super into being sacrificed." And Liam's like, "Okay, cool, come with me." So they're escaping, and it's pitch black outside. It's a new moon, no light at all. But they have an advantage because they that's the woods are where they snuck off to, and that's where they would go, and they would hold hands and be like, "Isn't love lovely?" So Liam and Olivia are in love, lovely love, and they know the woods like the back of their hands. So does the rest of the village, but not nearly as well as these two handholders. So they run away, and they get to a place where they know they're safe from. I don't know if you can hear that in recording, but somebody just did something with water. So they get to this place, and now they know that none of their villagers follow them, but they also know that they've never been here before. This is new to them, and they have no idea where to go. So they stumble around the forest, and they hear all noises they've never heard before, and these noises are just owls and nightingales and crickets. I don't know, but it's noises that seem familiar, but they've never really heard them up close because of how much their village repels nature to just to. I know that sounded weird. Let me try again. Repels nature to keep it from growing into their lands, and so they actively fight against nature. Other than everything's a food source, so everything that's growing is a food source, and every animal that's there is a food source, and eventually the animals and the crickets and the nightingales they knew, stay away. There's nothing for us here. We'll go out to these better places, which are now conquered by nature. And so Olivia and Liam, they get out, and they're lost. They're lost in the forest, and just over the trees they see just a flicker, just a tiny flicker of light. And they start making their way there, and the brush is crunching underneath them. And they're hearing owls. And if you had never heard an owl or been educated, or if you've never heard an owl, and your parents and your grandparents have never heard an owl, and you hear an owl for the first time, then whoo, woohoo, you'd be like, "Are we in New Orleans?" No, that's a joke. That's because it's woohoo, and people say woohoo in Norway. No, woohoo. Is it hoo? You know what? I don't know if I've ever heard an owl. Now I think about it, outside of a cartoon. So we're just gonna go hoo, hoo. Teenage Wasteland. That was a Who joke. Teenage Wasteland was by the. So anyway, I feel like I messed up the flow. So they hear the owl, and it's terrified. And they see the owl, and it looks like a 6-foot man. They thought the Mothman from the Mothman Prophecies was probably just an owl because they're not 6 feet tall, and their wingspan isn't 6 feet, but they look huge, silhouetted against the background of the night. And so they see it, and they're terrified, but they have this little flicker of hope, this little light that's shining into their eyeballs, and they're just making their way and crunching under years and years and years of dead brush and what could be grass, except for nature had the strongest survive, and it's been shedding out these pine tree needles, and it's just killing the grass. It's just covering it, and so it's not soft grass on their feet, but it's hard branches, soft branches, and they crackle. And every crackle just feels like a shotgun blast echoing, and they know their family's gonna catch them, but their really only goal is to escape their family. They had such a desire to get away from their family, to save Olivia and to be together, and now they are, and that's where Disney ends the happily ever after. But now they're in the real world. Olivia's okay, and now they're in a place where she might not be. And they just follow the light. And they make it there. And it's crunching. It's scary. And they're running out of rations, and they're trying to get there. And finally, they make it to the light. They have no idea what to expect, but they see a street lamp. Something that they've never even heard stories about. And they've heard stories of the old times. And this is not anything that they can recall. Except Olivia has one story about one time when her grandmother held a candle coming into her room to soothe her. And Olivia, just a child at this time, was terrified of the dark. And her grandmother comes in with the candle, and she says, there used to be a time where we would never see the night, where we just had light everywhere, even on a new moon. And Olivia thinks this is what her grandmother's talking about. This is the light ender. This is the prevention of darkness. Not light ender, dark ender. This is the prevention of the dark. This is what keeps it at bay. And now they've reached this pole, and they're still out in the forest, and they don't know what to do next. And they slowly look up, and in the distance, just with the soft glow, they notice a castle, a tower. And it's weird because they don't notice it because of the light bouncing off of it. They notice it because it's still, even in a new moon with no light shining, this tower is still the darkest tower. Its silhouette is so dark against the background that they know that this is where they have to go. And that's the story. And what time are we at? Oh, that was longer than I thought it was going to be. So thank you for listening. And this one, again, is for Nana. Love you, Nana. I tell everyone you're the strongest woman I know, and I believe that. And I love you. And until next time, keep writing. And in your case, Nana, keep painting. All right.